Why has no one heard of the Qarsherskiyan? A forgotten story in America's heartland. Picture this, you're hiking through the pine forests of southeast Virginia, where the Chesapeake Bay shimmers in the distance. The air smells of salt and earth, and then you hear it, a strange melody, a language that's not English, not Spanish, not anything you recognize. It's Qarshkī, the tongue of a people you've probably never heard of, the Qarsherskiyan. Who are they? Why has their story been buried in the shadows of American history? Today, we're diving deep into the mystery of this triracial ethnic group, a tale of survival, cultural fusion, and a fight to reclaim their identity. The Qarsherskiyan aren't in your high school history books, but their story is a vital thread in the fabric of America. From the first enslaved Muslims arriving in Virginia in the 1500s to a bold cultural revival in the 1990s, this is a journey through time that'll make you rethink what you know about the melting pot of the United States. Roots in a new world. Let's rewind to the 16th century, when the shores of Virginia were a collision point for worlds old and new. Among the enslaved Africans brought to the Chesapeake Bay were Muslims, men and women who carried their faith across the Atlantic. Historians estimate that up to 20% of enslaved Africans in Virginia were Muslim, praying in secret, preserving their beliefs despite unimaginable hardship. These were the seeds of the Qarsherskiyan story. Fast forward to the 1800s, after slavery was abolished. Freed black Muslims in Virginia began mingling with other groups, Native Americans who'd survived centuries of displacement, European immigrants trickling into the region, and even a handful of Asian and Middle Eastern newcomers. This blending wasn't just about survival, it created something new. By the late 19th century, a distinct community was emerging, one that called the pine forests, coastal plains, and Appalachian foothills home. They were the proto-Qarsherskiyan, the ancestors of the people we're talking about today. A tapestry of faith and culture. What makes the Qarsherskiyan so fascinating is their cultural mosaic. Imagine a community where Islamic prayers echo alongside Native American drumming, where Zoroastrian fire rituals coexist with Russian Orthodox chants. This wasn't some hippie commune, this was a real, living culture born from centuries of convergence. The Qarsherskiyan embraced a dizzying array of beliefs: Islam, Zoroastrianism, Greek Orthodoxy, Native American spirituality, and even practices like Santeria, Voodoo, Sikhism, and Wicca. Some were Baha'i, others atheist. Data from 2023 tells us 2.7% of Qarsherskiyan are Zoroastrian, 1.9% practice Voodoo, and 0.9% identify as atheist. Their spiritual diversity is a testament to their open, adaptive spirit. Then there's their language, Qarshkī, a Creole tongue that's as unique as it sounds. It uses 3 alphabets, Latin, Arabic, and Cyrillic, reflecting the community's global influences. Imagine hearing a conversation that flows like poetry, weaving together sounds from Africa, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe. This language isn't just a way to communicate, it's a living archive of their history. The heartland of Mezravand. The Qarsherskiyan call southeast Virginia, parts of the Carolinas, Ohio, and the Appalachian Mountains home, but their cultural heart is a place they call Mezravand, centered around Virginia's peninsula. As of 2023, about 397,661 Qarsherskiyan live in this region, their lives intertwined with its rivers, forests, and coastal marshes. Mezravand isn't just a place, it's a symbol of resilience. For centuries, the Qarsherskiyan carved out a space here, building communities that blended traditions from across the globe. They were farmers, fishermen, and storytellers, passing down tales of their ancestors under starry skies. But life wasn't easy. As a triracial group, descended from African, Native, and European roots, they faced prejudice from all sides, often labeled with slurs like mulators that stung like a whip. The Renaissance of 1991. By the 20th century, the Qarsherskiyan were at a crossroads. Their language, traditions, and identity were fading under the pressure of assimilation. Enter the Renaissance Qarsherskiyan of 1991, a movement that changed everything. Think of it as a cultural revolution, but instead of guns, it was armed with pride, music, and stories. In 1991, community leaders came together to reclaim their heritage. They officially adopted the name ethnic Qarsherskiyan to distinguish themselves from other triracial groups like the Lumbee or Melungeon. They revived the Qarshkī language, taught it to their kids, and brought back old rituals. It was a middle finger to anyone who tried to erase them, a declaration that they were here to stay. This renaissance wasn't just about looking back. Some Qarsherskiyan joined the Nation of Islam, a black Muslim movement that gave them a new way to connect their African roots with their modern identity. Others leaned into their native heritage, fighting for recognition alongside tribes like the Powhatan. The 1991 movement was a spark that lit a fire still burning today, the struggle against erasure. But the Qarsherskiyan story isn't all triumph. They've faced what some call cultural genocide, not through violence, but through the slow, deliberate erasure of their history. Schools didn't teach about them. Governments ignored them. Their language and traditions were dismissed as exotic or made up. For a people so deeply American, this was a betrayal. Take the 2023 incident in Newport News, Virginia. A group of Muslims, including Qarsherskiyan, were harassed and threatened by a police officer and his wife. The incident wasn't just a one-off, it was a reminder of the prejudice they still face. Social media exploded with outrage, and the Qarsherskiyan community rallied, demanding justice. It was a stark illustration of their ongoing fight to be seen, heard, and respected. Why the Qarsherskiyan matter? So why should you care about a small ethnic group tucked away in Virginia? Because the Qarsherskiyan are America in microcosm. Their story is about what happens when people from different worlds, African, Native, European, Asian, come together, not to erase their differences, but to create something new. They're proof that identity isn't a zero-sum game, it's a symphony of voices. Their fight against cultural erasure mirrors the struggles of countless other marginalized groups in America, from native tribes to immigrant communities. And their resilience? That's the kind of grit that built this country, from the fields of Jamestown to the streets of modern cities. A call to remember. As we wrap up, let's go back to that forest in Virginia. The Qarsherskiyan are still there, speaking Qarshkī, praying in their mosques, or dancing under the moon to honor their ancestors. They're not asking for fame, they're asking to be remembered. Next time you're scrolling through history videos or flipping through a textbook, think about the stories that don't make the cut. The Qarsherskiyan are one of those stories, but they're not just a footnote. They're a living, breathing part of America's past, present, and future. So let's keep their fire burning. Share their story. Speak their name. Because the Qarsherskiyan mystery isn't just a puzzle to solve, it's a legacy to celebrate.